What's up, Collide? Man, how many of you love movies? I want you to turn to someone next to you and tell them about your favorite movie. Ready? Go. So to me, I think 2019 was a huge year for movies, right? We had Spider-Man Far From Home, Jumanji, The Next Level, the Lego Movie 2. But let's be honest, one movie stood above the rest, and that was Avengers Endgame. Man, I remember seeing it opening night with some friends, and man, the theater was packed, right? We had to hustle just to grab seats in the middle row. And the atmosphere, man, it was electric. People cheering, crying, whispering, "No way," at every plot twist, right? And then the final battle, man, it hit hard. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, but one of the most powerful moments in the movie comes right after a major loss. The Avengers are scattered, half their team is gone, everything feels broken, but they don't give up. Man, they come back together on a mission, not just to defeat Thanos, but to bring their people back. Man, you could feel it. They weren't okay being separated. They needed each other. And man, that's why today we are continuing our series called Habits, where we are talking about the B in habits. Belong to a small group. Why? That's a great question. It's because just like the Avengers needed each other, man, we need each other. We want to belong to something. Man, honestly, that kind of connection, man, it hits something deep in all of us. Because no matter who you are, what you're into, or where you're from, you want to belong. You want people to be in your corner. But here's the thing, where do we find that? If you're looking on social media, it seems like everybody already has the perfect group. People going on wild adventures, laughing nonstop, pranking each other in epic ways. And it's easy to think, man, if I just had those people, I wouldn't feel so alone. But can I tell you something? That's a lie. Man, belonging isn't about popularity. It's not about finding perfect people who never let you down. Real belonging, the kind that changes your life, is found in community. A community created on Jesus. So let's check out Hebrews 10, 24-25 and see what that has to say. It says, "Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." See, that's the kind of community God invites us into, a group that motivates each other towards love and good works, encourages one another, shows up consistently, intentionally, and faithfully. If you're following Jesus, community isn't optional. You need it. You weren't created to walk through life or faith alone. But don't confuse community with comfort. Being in a group doesn't mean everyone's just like you. It doesn't mean that it's always fun or easy. It means that you've found people who are committed to pointing you back to Jesus. There will be awkward moments. There will be weeks where you don't feel like going. There will always be people who challenge you. And that's good because growth isn't always comfortable, but it's worth it. But to really belong in your group, it's more than just showing up. It's about engaging and leaning into each other, even when it's not easy. This is how you're reminded who Jesus is and who he's calling you to become. Belonging also takes vulnerability. It's not just sitting in a room, but it's opening up little by little about what's really going on in your life. That doesn't mean dumping all of your deepest, darkest secrets on day one, but it does mean being honest when life is hard, when you're struggling with faith, when you're hurting, when something good happens and you want to celebrate it. Real connection starts when we stop pretending and start being real. And here's what's crazy. In the process of being real, man, God shows up. Sometimes it's in the way someone prays for you. Sometimes it's in the way your leader shows up after a group to check in. Sometimes it's a single moment where you realize, man, I'm not the only one that's going through this. That's what makes a small group powerful. It's not just a meeting, man, it's a space where God uses people to speak life into you. So if you've been holding back, wondering if you really belong, this is your sign to take the next step. Share something honest. Ask someone how they're really doing. Offer encouragement when someone opens up. Show up ready, not just to be served, but to serve. Because small group isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up with your imperfect self and finding Jesus in the middle of it all. So, what does this look like for you? It means choosing to connect with your group on purpose. It means making group a priority, even when you're tired or busy. It means leaning in even if it feels awkward. It means being real even when life isn't Instagram perfect. Because here's what groups are built for: to help you grow, to encourage you, to give you a place to be known, seen, and reminded that you are not alone. You belong by connecting with your group, not because everyone thinks like you, not because it's always fun, but because, man, this is where God works, in community. This is where growth happens. This is where faith gets real. This is where you're reminded that you don't have to do this alone. So here's your challenge. Be bold. Be intentional, lean in, even when it's uncomfortable. Because on the other side of that choice, you'll find belonging, growth, and connection. Let's be the kind of group that shows up for each other, man, week after week, because we believe Jesus is worth it, and so are you.